any good mom does on a Friday night. Finds a sitter and then finds plans. She sits me with this sitter, and my sitter does what any good sitter does. She makes long-distance calls to her boyfriend, eats all the food in the fridge she can possibly in the 4 hours my mom hired her, sits me in front of the TV, and puts a movie on. That movie was The Never-Ending Story. If you could be so helpful as to let me know if you've seen this film, The Never-Ending Story. Okay, let me summarize it for those who haven't. The land of Fantasia is falling apart. It is being destroyed, not by a monster, not by some sort of storm or major tragedy. It is being destroyed by what everyone has referred to as the nothing. There are huge creatures fighting for good that cannot thwart what is going on. A boy named Atreyu, his horse Artax, and Sebastian, who is reading this book, come to find out that nothing represents our apathy as a society and our lack of imagination. Yeah. I'm 8, watching this movie. And like any child in front of a film, I just need to be comforted before I fall asleep, and so the movie does. Everything is resolved. Turns out all he has to do is give the princess a name. Super easy. And everything's back to being in order. But it's been 20 years. And that message has sat with me that entire time, because as I look out, I see the nothing now. And you may wonder, well, all of us came into the world with nothing. Most of us still have much of it left. Why is the nothing scary? Here we go. It is our greatest fear as a society, as individuals. We are afraid of being nothing, having nothing, becoming nothing. And yet, we are choosing nothing over anything at an alarming rate and expense. Tropical vacations promise for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. You can lie on the sand for days and do nothing. We run up expensive cell phone bills from long conversations about nothing. Billions of dollars spent every year on antidepressants and painkillers so that we can feel nothing. We shop at one massive store instead of several smaller stores. We pay for others to do what we're more than capable of doing ourselves. We drive on the highway at death-defying speeds, risking our lives and those of everyone else's around us, and we do this so we have as much time left in our day to do. People who can't walk fantasize about dancing. People who can't see fantasize about traveling the world or painting beautiful works of art. People who can't hear fantasize about listening to beautiful music or exchanging in meaningful words. But what do the people who can see, can walk, can hear, what do we fantasize about doing? Nothing. As a matter of fact, it has become a staple of our great American culture to get to a point in our life as early, as young, and as wealthy as possible, so we can spend the rest of our lives. There was a time when they were burning books to keep people from reading. Now our libraries are empty, our bookstores are closing. There was a time where you would wait weeks for a beautiful handwritten letter, and now the postal service is closed because instead we bombard each other with meaningless, emotionless text messages. There was a time where we had to literally fight for the right to vote, and now candidates spend millions of dollars hoping we'll show up to the ballot. There was a time where you would be killed for believing in any god, and now it seems the only time people pray are in casinos, prisons, and hospitals. Making quick deals when all they really want is another dollar and another day to spend it. We live in a time that millions died to give us. We live in a country that thousands died to reach. Because here we can be anything. Here we can aspire to do anything. And in this glorious time of liberation, we have chosen to do nothing. I see them. And I wonder, how much longer can we continue to do nothing? Before there comes a point when there's nothing left that we can do. How much longer can you continue to aspire for nothing of yourself before that's exactly what you've become? Cue the light. Here we go. But nothing can work so beautifully if you just know how to use it. If you claim to be nothing within that moment, you are allowing the possibility to be anything. If you claim to know nothing, then the book that represents your life still has empty pages to be written by all the world's knowledge and wisdom. There are just 32 days in the year, just 32 that the average person celebrates, anticipates, and actively participates in. Most of them printed on the calendar, sprinkled in some weddings, funeral, some birthdays. 32, voila. 333 other days are there. And what happens? Nothing. I won't presume to know how you spent last week, and I don't make any assumptions as far as how you spent last night. I'm here genuinely today in hopes of influencing the way that you spend tomorrow by reminding you yesterday has nothing to do with tomorrow unless you wanted to. You are not the accumulation of your yesterdays. You are the living potential of your tomorrows. You are everything you never said you couldn't be. And at this moment, I plead, if not beg, take those two hands. Take those two hands and remember how useful they were before they became preoccupied with accumulating green sheets of paper. Take those hands and remember how connected you were before you ever owned a cell phone. Take those hands and remember how driven you were before you ever held a steering wheel. Take those two hands and do something, build something, create something, fix something. Take those two hands and the arms that connected to and embrace someone. The thumb, the cell phone you love so much, call someone you haven't spoken to for weeks, months, years. Take those two hands and do something. Because the world out there continues to fall apart as a result of us continuing to do nothing. When I look out, I assure you, I don't see 31 people. I see thousands. Your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, your classmates. I see all those people because those are all the people who would notice a dramatic change in you tomorrow because of what you heard today. And when they ask you, what did it take to cause this amazing change in who you are? You can honestly tell them